Our fundraising efforts provide scholarships and support for countless individuals and organizations.
Kiwanis Club of Regina was formed in 1919, and in about 1925 it decided to organize a fundraising program, and they chose the sale of apples. Apples was very common throughout North America for selling as a fundraiser with Kiwanis. Our club picked up on this very aggressively, and they sold apples in a number of different ways. The first way was to take apples up and down streets in trucks and knock on doors and cold call sale right there. It was a lot of work, it was a lot of fun, but it got the program going very well. Then it decided that it was best if we got the full trailer of apples that we needed for the year and place it in a mall close where customers could come and pick up their apples. They could buy them right at the trailer cold if they wished, but we would also go door to door and sell tickets to tell them when our sale is on and where. And that went on for several years. We stopped selling apples, I think it was approximately 1980 or 1990, in that time zone. And we had to stop that because the apples we were selling were the best quality you could get, the Macintosh Red. And so in the latter years of that sale program, we switched over to daffodils. And we've been selling daffodils ever since that time, approximately 40 years ago.
The daffodil campaign started in 1965. Basically, we ordered daffodils from the growers in Victoria, BC, and they've been supplying us with daffodils throughout all those years. Each fall and early spring, we would determine how many daffodils we would try and sell in a given year, and then place our order and determine a time when a week when we would sell the daffodils. Most years we have sold daffodils in March. One occasion we have sold it in April. Daffodils were shipped by truck. One of the things we had to be sure of is that the truckers had a refrigerator truck to maintain the temperature of the daffodils at about 1 degree Celsius. And so once we received them here in Regina, we always had to be looking for places where we could maintain that 1 degree in order that the daffodils would not blossom too early. In the early days, we used to sell the daffodils at our businesses, and then we decided that we should move into the malls and sell daffodils there. And so we set up tables in many of the malls to sell daffodils. Just lately, we are down to 2 malls, Northgate and Southland, where we sell the daffodils. I should mention that the Girl Guides were an integral part of our daffodil sales. Each year, they would sell daffodils for Kiwanis, so the money would come back to us, and we would put the money into the camp. Since the closing of the camp, the Girl Guides continued to sell daffodils for us. In exchange for that service, we provide them with a grant for their programs. The one thing I enjoyed about selling daffodils is the smile on our clients' faces when they see that we're selling them in the spring. Also, they return to the malls and tell us how beautiful the flowers are after they've come to full bloom. It gives us a warm feeling that we have put some joy into people's lives.
Daffodil sales have grown dramatically. Our best profit year was $15,000. All of the money that we raised, both in apples and in daffodils, went to projects in Regina. And we were always looking for new places to invest that money, and we were very successful at doing that. Our club also had a camp, and you've heard about the camp, but that camp was started to accommodate troubled boys. And we ran that camp for several years. When the service agencies of government took that program over, we now had a facility available for someone else to use. And Girl Guides was the chosen body to work with us on that camp. A lot of the money that we raised in that club went to the camp for a number of years. When we stopped using the camp, we sold it. And the proceeds of that is in a special fund, the interest of which all goes each year to investing in projects in the city. Daffodils continue to be a sale and continues to this day. In amongst all of that time of selling daffodils, we also chose to sell lobsters, and we put on a lobster dinner once every year. They would come to us live, and the whole club would get together and pick out a hall and just have a good social time, at the same time raising good funds for all of our projects. We're looking now at other initiatives, one of which is our wishing wells. We have 2 of those in operation in the city, and they're bringing in steady cash flow to meet our investment intentions.
The wishing well started about in 2012. We purchased 2 units from a company out of the States that had joined with our international office and offered a discount on a well. If we bought 2 wells, we got a $500 discount on those 2 wells. So we thought this would be a nice addition to our fundraising group. They're easy to maintain. So we bought the 2, and we placed one of them 7 years ago in Evra's place when the new hockey arena is there. So there's one placed upstairs on the veranda up there, and it collects approximately $100 to $150 per month in the winter months. During the summer, it sits there idle, but it's a good profit thing in the winter time. And then in 2015, the Kiwanis approached Dyna Bouncers to put a wishing well into their building, or our building, and I said sure, and I asked a few questions about Kiwanis, and so the second one was put in to Dyna Bouncers on Park Street, and it collects, on the good winter months when we're busy, it'll collect $200 in a month. In the summer, you're about $125 in the summer. Just depends on the crowds. We've tried looking for locations. We've done a little bit of legwork on that and haven't had much success in finding a good candidate yet for one, but we're always looking for a place to set up another wishing well for sure. They're easy to maintain, and they're non-destructible sort of thing, so we definitely would like to put up a few more. Any place that's got a high traffic of kids works really well, like the hockey rinks. It's always the kids up there that are putting money in. Dyna Bouncers, obviously, that's a lot of kids coming through, so another facility with kids in it that has a high traffic with kids, they're drawn to it. I know here at the parents are always at the end of their 2-hour stay are always putting money into the well at the end of their time, because the kids want to do that, so they look forward to that. Some of my young customers have dropped in some of their treasures in the well accidentally. A young girl dropped her soother in there, so I've had to phone Dawn and get Dawn out here from Kiwanis to open up the wishing well and retrieve the soothy for Mom so that the little one would rest peacefully. I've had a little guy drop his favorite Hot Wheels car in there, so same thing. Go and phone Dawn. Dawn comes in, opens up the wishing well and retrieves the toy for the little ones. Most of the kids just love to put the money on and watch it go around, and then before it goes down to the bottom, they'll reach in, grab that coin out and reuse that coin over and over again, just so they can have the experience of watching that circling effect in the wishing well.
The Mayor's Luncheon began as an in-club event, so much like our regular luncheons, we invited a speaker to present to the club on the happenings of the day. For this specific meeting, it was the Mayor of Regina for the day, and from there it's progressively grown into a larger and larger event, at our peaks hitting about 800, 900 people in attendance. We've been at it for 52 years now.
When I first became involved, Rod Dickinson was running it, and then he became involved in business, so I took over and ran it for several years, and then Mark came along and took it. So we've had quite a history in the last 15 or so years of building it up into a well-recognized event in the spring.
So what separates the Kiwanis State of the City Mayor's Address from similar events that happen throughout the calendar year is that really it's the Mayor's opportunity to present to the city what's happened in the past year and where we're going in the coming year or years. Really it's more of an address on the state of affairs versus a specific topic or a specific demographic within the city.
We've got people from the business community, the education community, the professional community, the Native community, they attend. So there's a real cross-section of people who have attended the luncheon in the past.
In the years that I've been involved, it's moved from Everaz Place, which is the exhibition grounds, to the Delta. We moved it downtown, which allows the business community to make it out to the event a little bit easier, given that it's typically during winter, and Saskatchewan winters are a little unforgiving at times. This project's very important to the community because it's one of our, as Kiwanis, it's one of our few events where we're forward-facing. We engage the business community instead of engaging those that we're serving. It really helps get awareness that the club exists out there. The feedback from the business community has been great. It's a service we provide to them, and in return we end up fundraising quite a bit of money typically, which helps with our various projects throughout the rest of the year. The average year you'll see us raise somewhere between the 5,000 and 10,000. We've had years that have barely been broken even, and we've had years where we've had fantastic fundraising efforts. It really depends on where we are within the election cycle, as well as what's going on in the general community at that time.
In terms of Kiwanis, it goes for scholarships. We have football scholarships. We have music scholarships. It goes for maintenance of the Kiwanis Park, which is a project that I think is really important. Other things for the money, the friendship centers and things like that, people will ask, and can you help us? And if we have the resources and if it's within our sort of mandate of helping children, we'll try to help them out. It's not a lot of money, but it does, we make it go as far as we can. Let's put it that way.
Our club has been very active in fundraising. It continues to look for more opportunities because there's a lot of competition out there in the marketplace for fundraising for various service clubs. So I would say in a nutshell that Kiwanis is still very healthy financially. We've got a great future ahead of us. If we use our funds as we have in the past, we should be able to serve Regina very well.
Life is bigger than just one, but one can make a difference.